So this is your Plate IQ home dashboard. The dashboard automatically supports multiple locations, which can be grouped into subgroups and departments on the right-hand side here. And anyone can have access to one or more locations. There's going to be permissions assigned to each individual user inside Plate IQ. Everything begins with uploading invoices by selecting the upload button, then selecting a location. You can drag and drop here. I can also have invoices emailed to a location-specific email address. In addition, you could take a photo of invoices through your mobile app, whether it's an iPhone or an Android, and you can scan in bulk up to 300 invoices at once. Now, those would be the three user-based ways. The fourth method would be through EDI feeds, which stand for electronic data interchange, which is very common for any broadline vendors in the hospitality space specific to US Foods, maybe Cisco or Gordon Food Services. And the benefit of the EDI feed is the invoices are going to populate in Plate IQ in real time. They are verified by our technology in real time as well. So four methods of uploading invoices: first through the email address, second through mobile app, whether it's an iPhone or an Android, third through scanning in bulk, and then fourth method would be through the EDI feed. Now, once invoices have been uploaded, they're going to appear in your invoices tab, and they're going to appear in the uploads tab for processing. You could think of Plate IQ as a digital filing cabinet, meaning you could search for any invoice. I could filter this, break this down across all locations or on a per location basis. I could filter this to access invoices over a specific date range. I can also access those invoices per vendor, and at the top here, search for invoice number, total dollar amount, item name, or vendor as well. All right. I'm going to begin by showing you an example of an invoice that's going to be living in the needs attention bucket. And there's four reasons why an invoice would live in the needs attention bucket. First would be if it requires vendor setup. Second, if it requires line item level detail to be mapped to a general ledger. Third, if Plate IQ has flagged this invoice for a potential duplicate. And then fourth, any invoice that was potentially flagged by Plate IQ and routed back to you or a team member. Let's just begin by showing an invoice that requires a vendor setup. And it's a very simple process. I can set vendors up with mapping in the needs attention bucket, or I could do so on the home screen. All we have to do here is select vendor setup and then complete the necessary steps that follow. This is a few clicks away from having your vendor set up. All of these vendors and the vendor list are going to be pulled from your accounting software upon onboarding. And it's a one-time mapping process for vendor setup. A second example would be those invoices that require line item level mapping. So, for example, here's an invoice that was uploaded into Plate IQ. Plate IQ processes all invoices down to the item level detail. The left-hand side is the invoice uploaded through one of those four methods. The right-hand side is what Plate IQ captured without any data entry. Plate IQ captured the vendor name, the invoice number, the location in which it was uploaded to, of course, the invoice date, document type, and total dollar amount. What Plate IQ wants to do is it wants to create rules to each line item and automatically map them to that code from your accounting software every time you view that item. As you can see, most of these items have already been mapped. All we're waiting on now is this new item to be mapped to a dimension. You can map up to 3 dimensions. The most common within this space would be general ledger. So I could set this line item level detail of onions to be mapped to accounts payable. This is a one-time mapping process. I can always automatically map to general ledger 2000 only this time, or every single time this line item populates in Plate IQ, I would go in and manually do it myself. Now, best practice from day one during your onboarding would be to always automatically map this line item description to this dimension, which of course is your general ledger. All right, let's discuss the approval policies that PlateIQ is going to build in the platform, and then we'll touch on how those approval policies work in the Invoices tab within the workflow. So on the back end of the system, we're going to create approval policies for you and your team. They can be as basic as needed or as robust as needed. We can require approval for specific locations and certain individuals. We can also set this for individuals to approve invoices over a specific time frame and based on a specific condition. So for example, a common approval policy, which is going to be built into that invoice workflow, would be creating by location, company-wide, or group-wide. And what's very common would be a total more than. So any invoice that was uploaded to the by catering location over $1,000 must be approved by Bavuk as well as Josh. This is an end condition. It's stating 2 individuals must approve. At the same time, I can turn this into an or condition, stating either Bavuk or Josh must approve this invoice. And then here's the final condition that we've created. And so again, this condition is stating any invoice uploaded to the by catering location across any vendor that's over $1,000 must be approved by either Bavuk or Josh. If I change this to the end condition, this now adjusted to both Bavuk and Josh must approve any invoice over $1,000 routed to the by catering location. Now, how will this work within the invoice workflow? So back to your Invoices tab. Your needs attention bucket, again, is going to contain those invoices that require vendor setup, mapping to a line item, invoices that were uploaded multiple times or flagged by PlateIQ. Your approval will show all invoices waiting for approval by an individual. The system has several roles. Your regular users will view invoices waiting approval right here. I can approve one by one, or I can approve in bulk. Once I've done so, it's going to be pushed through the workflow into pending approval. Now, all of these invoices are waiting for an administrator's approval. Again, I can approve one by one, or I can approve in bulk. And if we jump into specific invoices, every invoice we're going to be able to view the following. Of course, where the line item level detail has been mapped to. I'm also going to be able to view my account splits, which state, is a general ledger summary going to be pushed into my accounting software, or would it be this full line item level detail? And that's going to be based, of course, on the accounting software you're using today. Every invoice, you'll be able to view the approval policies, which we've created on the back end of the system. And then there's always going to be a paper trail. This is going to notify you the method in which the invoice was uploaded, the team member that uploaded the invoice, along with a timestamp stating when it was verified by PlateIQ. And that verification is stating that our OCR technology and our deep learning technology read everything accurate from the physical invoice on the left-hand side, and it read it accurately on the right-hand side. Right? And once that's happened, they'll be routed to your approved bucket. All of these invoices have been mapped and coded. I can export one by one, or I can export in bulk directly into my accounting software. All right. PlateIQ will send out daily notifications stating invoices that must be approved or exported. You don't have to approve from your computer. You can approve, you can export directly from a tablet or your mobile device. In addition, PlateIQ can create rules such as splits across classes, departments, or additional dimensions such as items and locations. Once these invoices have been uploaded, they've been approved and exported, they're now ready for payment in the exact same platform. So our vendor pay tool allows you and your team to pay it, to schedule and to pay all of your bills, and then specific accounting softwares, we can export those payments. So everything begins working from left to right as it would with the invoices tab. Breakdown of my unpaid invoices. And this process is fairly simple. There's going to be 3 forms of payment, including virtual card, which generate cashback. I can initiate to pay vendors through ACH, or Plate IQ can cut checks on you and your team's behalf. All we have to do here is select the date in which we would like this payment to go out to the vendor. I will be notified the latest date the vendor receives payment, whether it's a virtual card, ACH, or check. Once that payment has been scheduled, it's now ready for approval. I can approve one by one, or I can approve in bulk. Now, you're realistically approving one by one or approving a few at a time, because the approved bucket is more or less stating, do I have the cash to pay this bill? If I do have the cash, then I can go ahead and approve it. I'll have a full list view of scheduled payments, and then any bill that's ready for export into my accounting software. This process is no different than your invoicing. I can export one by one, or I can export in bulk. So this is where Plate IQ truly becomes an end-to-end solution. Everything from uploading invoices, having them approved, exported directly to your accounting software, which eliminates all that data entry. And then second, for final payment, you can go in here, you could schedule your payments and have them exported, of course, based on the accounting software. In addition, Plate IQ offers various reporting tools, such as a spend analysis, which will be a full breakdown of what you spent, either on a per location basis, across all locations. I can filter this over a specific date range. I'll also receive a hot list, which is going to notify me of increased and decreased cost of goods, along with CSV exports. Most commonly to be used would be your AP agent by vendor or vendor pay tool, AP agent by invoice, and then invoice uploads. You will receive all 8 of these CSV exports. So that is everything from start to finish with what Plate IQ would offer for you and your team.